Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hello. How y'all doing today? This is Devon Morris, certified Scrum trainer, all these other things. Been around Agile since 2005. I'm here to help answer your questions about Scrum and Agile. A lot of you all have been around before. We do this show every single Monday, 8 o'clock Central. That's what we do. We talk about Scrum, Agile type topics. Today, the topic of the day is going to be becoming an in-demand Agile Intelligence Expert. Last week we talked about Agile Intelligence, that combination of AI and intelligence. This week I need to just talk about a few things that you need to capitalize on, and I think that some of these things I hope you know, but the other side of that is some of these you may not know, and I know some of us we're getting these little AI certifications is really super high level, and I get it. I think that's a right path to go, but I think there's a little bit more some of us can actually do, right? So stay tuned for that. We'll start that in a few minutes. Hopefully everybody's good. If you're good, say hi. Say hi. I always have my people out there on LinkedIn. How you doing? How's that going? Hopefully you guys are good. But again, as I say every single week, if you want to interact with what we're doing here, the best thing to do is to come join us on YouTube. That's where I interact in the comments and everything else. So if you got if you got a question, that's the best place to ask your question. If you got a comment, that's the best place to leave your comment, right? So come on and join me over there, and we'll be good to go. I'd also say make sure you subscribe to this thing. We're always trying to grow the channel over time, right? So we're always trying to do that. Nothing's going to change about that, but we're good to go. Let's see what's going on this week. Not 2 weeks from now, I probably got a CSM. Other than that, man, what's been happening for me is school's been kicking my butt. Like literally, when I say to you, school is kicking my butt. School is crushing me, man. I mean, when I say to you, I'm literally spending 40 hours a week plus on school. I ain't never lying, man. I've never thought. I don't even think I spent this kind of time in undergrad. It's crazy. So I get it, but it's crazy, right? It's crazy. So I'm just like, wow, this is working my nerves. I'm already tired of it, and I got at least 6 more weeks to go. So it's just like, well, it's like 7. Cause I gotta include this week because it just started. But yeah. Other than that, but you know what? I got some good stuff, right? Actually, this past week, I've been actually learning a lot about goals and making goals that actually truly work. And I'm gonna be incorporating it into not my classes, but into my work, right? In terms of making sure that sprint goals and product goals and things like that work, right? And how to make those goals you successfully attain the goal that you're looking to attain. A lot of great information on that this past week I've been able to or at least study. This week I go into a little bit more of that, and we're just gonna keep it going, keep it rolling. So I'm actually getting stuff and bringing to the table. Maybe I'll bring that to you all in the future. But that's really what that is all about. So that's just super amazing. So I'm like good to go on that. If you don't know, you've never been to the show, what we do is we answer questions after we go through the topic. I've been going long on a topic. Today, I don't think I'm going long on a topic, right? If you have questions after the show is over, you drop them in the comments. You're welcome to join us live. It'd be harder for you to join us live because I don't have my headphones, right? And then you'll get echo, right? So we probably just take all comments in the actual comment section today, so we'll be good to go. I see there's new people here, so new people, welcome. Just come on in and enjoy the ride because we're gonna have it happen. So we're gonna go from about 8:05 to 8:30, maybe 8:25 with the topic, and then we'll go ahead and open the floor for questions that you may have. Just remember, I've been around Scrum for a while, so this is a good place to ask questions. So that being said, we're gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna really jump in and start talking about our topic. What is our topic for the day? Our topic is simply becoming an in-demand agile intelligence expert. If you didn't know, we talked about agile intelligence. We talked about things like that last year. Is it a deadly combination, or is it the next frontier, right? For some of us, it's going to be a deadly combination, right? Because we're not going to reskill. We're not going to do the things that we need to do to make sure that we're kind of ready to go. I know there were several people here last week that said, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And those things I'm applauding right now. I'm literally applauding that for you, right? But if you're not, on this wave for AI, I'm a little concerned for you, right? But if you don't remember from last week, when we talked about agile intelligence, it really is the combination of agile and AI, and it's been around for some time. Really kind of came out of business intelligence. You start looking at Netflix and Amazon and how they provide recommendations to you and all these algorithms, just different ways to think, different ways to make decisions, different ways to make choices, and it's just getting better and better and better. Now the AI is getting to that place. We're gonna get a lot more out of this stuff, right? And so just remember, agile intelligence is a combination of agile and artificial intelligence kind of mashed together, right? So we'll talk about that just a tad bit. But let's jump into it, y'all. Let's jump into it. The first thing I really want to talk to you about is gonna be, the basics. Okay. The first thing I got to tell you is what I would always tell you, and this is 1A, right? Is master the agile methodologies. Now, I'm using methodologies loosely. I'm not talking about a prescriptive way of doing things. I just don't have too many other words to use, right? I like to say agile methods, but I said methodologies this time. So I am not talking about something prescriptive. If you've been around agile a while, you understand when I say agile methodologies. I'm not talking about waterfall, prescription, top-down management, authoritarianism. I'm not talking about any of those things, right? But you need to make sure that you master agile methods, agile methodologies, right? It's really important, right? And finding ways to familiarize yourself with the core principles of agile methodologies is extremely important. Now, I'm going to just pause here and just jump out and say, look, man, first thing, right, is understand that there's a distinction between agile and the frameworks that exist, right? Just understand there's a distinction between them, right? Go and research that, deal with that. You'll also find some key characteristics of it is going to be that iterative development, customer collaboration, responding to change, right? And the manifesto will throw in iterative and people, a people thing. It'll throw in several things. So just make sure that you get with that, learn about it, become the best expert that you can, right? The other thing I'm going to say to you is really important, right? Gain some hands-on experience, right? A lot of us in these days are working on agile projects, right? A lot of us don't have organizations that have moved to product, being productized. But whether you're doing products or you're doing projects or different kind of efforts, it doesn't matter. As long as they incorporate the values and principles of the Agile Manifesto and use some of those other agile methods, you're probably doing something halfway decent. And here's the deal: it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection here, right? I'm not looking for that, right? See, just because you're doing hybrid means you're doing some agile likely, right? And that's not perfect agile, but it is what everybody else is doing likely, a hybridization of agile plus some other things, right? So you want to make sure that you gain some hands-on experience. I always talk to scrum masters and say, you got to understand theory and you got to understand practical implementation. Those two things will help to make you the best scrum master you can be. But in this situation, gaining hands-on experience is probably one of the biggest things that you need to do. Also get used to, learn how to be as effective with the rituals that exist. Those classic scrum rituals is what people mostly talk about: the plannings, the stand-ups, the retros, the reviews, refinements. Getting used to those different rituals is going to be a plus for you, because likely a lot of these rituals will actually apply, right? I was thinking about the feedback loop that is important within Agile. And you think about a Scrum in particular. Scrum has feedback loops almost everywhere, right? It's important for you to have feedback on the work itself. It's important for you to have feedback from the actual people around you, those two things help to make the feedback more potent and help you to do a much better job, right? Because feedback is information about job performance. That's really all it is, right? And so it helps you to incorporate it and change it all to meet whatever goal we're trying to meet. So make sure you learn to embrace those agile principles. Make sure you clearly understand those agile principles. But we don't just stop there, right? Because I have to say this, right? I don't know how you know certifications, right, are for marketability. It's the best way I could put it, right? It's like, I have a kid, and he doesn't have a bachelor's, right? He doesn't have an associate's, right? And he's running into a lot of job situations that are saying, we need you to have an associate's, right? They don't care what the associate's in. They just want to see that he took a long path to complete something and actually did complete it. That's all they're really saying. It's like a checkbox, right? And you got to understand something that's really important. Why would somebody pick you if somebody else has a certification and the same amount of experience as you? You'd have to wow them in a different way, right? So it's just, and a lot of times we don't see the people initially. We don't talk to them initially. They see us do a representation of ourselves called maybe a resume or something online. So the idea is that certifications is going to help validate your expertise in terms of agile practices. I've seen the most popular basic ones here: the CSM, Certified Scrum Master. Obviously, everybody knows I'm a certified Scrum trainer. Those are the certifications that I do: CSM, CSPO, all that kind of stuff, right? So that is what it is. Agile Certified Practitioner. That's a PMI ACP. I got that thing. I got to renew it, but I got that thing, right? Safe Agilist. I'm not a Safe Agilist, but I know a lot of you all actually here are Safe Agilists, and I think it's an excellent certification to have. One thing about those certifications is that all of them have a commitment toward continuous improvement. All of them enhances your credibility as an agile professional, as an agile practitioner. And what you want to do with those certifications is really enhance your credibility. That's really it. You enhance your credibility, you're looking really good at this point, right? So make sure that you take a moment, make sure you take the time to go earn those things, go get them, go knock them out the way, right? You don't have them for a lifetime. Most of them you got to renew in some kind of way. So just go do the right thing and get those things done. I'm also going to say, don't stop learning, right? Go get some of those advanced certifications. Go get some of those coaching certifications. I believe those things will help you out in terms of your people skills and everything else. So if you do that as well, that is going to be beneficial to you. Now, to get advanced certifications, it normally takes you having some type of experience and taking certain levels of classes. There's always prereqs, but make sure you do those things. So really important that you take the time and dive into this and get proficient at the agile stuff. The more proficient you are at the agile stuff, less excuses. Less excuses. You have that taken care of. Now, here's the deal. I really call master the agile practices a 1A, because a lot of you all that's on this are moving in that direction, or you're already there already, right? And so this right here to me is a no-brainer. It's a 1A. But there's a 1B as well. And these could be switched, right? Because there's going to be some people that's over in this area, likely not a lot of us here, but there's going to be some people in this area. And the area that I'm really talking about here is develop proficiency in AI technologies, right? Now, the reason why I say 1A and 1B is because these things are interchangeable. There could be some people that are really proficient in AI technology, not so proficient within agile methods, right? And so, I think these things can happen in parallel. In being a past programmer, software developer, that's where I was really good at, right? I was really good on the software development side, being a techie, right? But then again, I had to become proficient in a different way. And this is that proficiency in a different way. Proficiency in AI technologies. Now, the first thing I'm going to say to you is learn AI fundamentals. If you've been around LinkedIn or anything like that whatsoever, you see everybody has an AI certification, right? And everybody's putting their badges up saying, hey, I've taken this AI class, I've taken this AI class, I've taken this AI class. But here's the deal. A lot of those classes just really hit the surface, right? And that's okay, because what I'm more interested in you learning in terms of the concepts of AI is machine learning. Learn what machine learning is all about. Learn what deep learning is all about. Natural language processing, computer vision. These are things that you want to start to focus on, right? When you're trying to get those AI fundamentals. So find ways to go a little bit deeper than that cursory information that may be an introductory project management, and AI working together, Scrum and AI working together. Definitely go a little bit deeper than that, right? Because I believe it's the depth that's going to help you out, right? Now, that being said, there are online classes. Jump in some online classes, jump into some tutorials. If you got an opportunity to get on a project that has some AI association, I would do that. I mean, as I told you last week, I don't know of any company right now, unless they're really behind the times, but any company I've worked for in the past 2-3 years, that AI wasn't something that was on their roadmap. Minimum on their roadmap. Minimum on their roadmap. On how they can utilize AI within the organization to do the work. And then outside the organization, a whole other thing, right? In terms of what you offer the customer, in terms of being able to do better things for them, right? So really, really important. And so by being on those projects is going to give you some practical skills, especially AI development and implementation. Those things will be crucial for you. Now, here's the deal. Imagine a person, like I will always say, right? There are some people here that are really good at development, and they're really good Scrum coaches, really good Agile coaches, right? And I find those to be a dangerous mix of a person. Because you're that person that can go into the code and help teach how to do Agile. But you also can be in an executive boardroom and teaching executives how to deal with Agile. For me, that's an amazing combination. I'm thinking the same thing here. I'm thinking the same exact thing here, right? Because you could actually be so dangerous with the AI fundamentals, with the AI stuff in general, and be dangerous with that Agile stuff. That combination right there is going to get you paid. Let's try this one more time. Let me do this. That combination right there is going to get you paid. You understand? It really will, right? What got me paid was because I was a developer, right? I was a developer, and I started growing in this this Agile world. That got me paid. And so I'm looking at this next combination and saying to myself, this is that combination that's going to get people paid for real. For real, right? So I want you to think about that and think about that hard. You understand? Think about that hard, right? Anybody that's done any AI courses where they've talked about these topics here: machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and computer vision. Have you heard any of those things being talked about? If you haven't, I'm curious, but let me know in the comments. Have you been in a situation where you heard of these things being talked about at this point? Because if you had, that's good and that's amazing. If you have, raise your hand, tell me you've had that experience. Because I'm worried that a lot of us, we're just not. So it's really, really important. Now, we're not going to just stop there, because I think you need to master data science tools and techniques, right? Familiarize yourself with popular data science tools and programming languages. Python, R, TensorFlow, Scikit, are places to start. Right? Now, some of us are not going to go and start becoming programmers, right? I get it. But you can familiarize yourself with what these things are. You can familiarize yourself with their history and why they exist. You can at least do that, right? Okay. Gaining this knowledge is going to help you. In some kind of way. So I would say, kind of move yourself in that direction to learn more about, that data science tools and techniques. If you can gain proficiency in data processing, feature engineering, model training, and evaluation to efficiently leverage AI algorithms in the real world, you looking good, man. And there are people out there that can do that. Now, you know how dangerous you would be if you had the ability to do that and I do this Agile stuff? I always keep saying the AI program is going to be the last person standing. So doing this is going to be extremely helpful for you for the long run. So don't put it to the side. Don't think it's something that we're joking about here. What I'm telling you is absolutely serious, and I think will be a tremendous help to your resume and to your future employability, future payment, big fat pockets. You understand what I'm saying? Big fat pockets, right? So you want to go and make sure you start dealing with that. And that programming side is extremely important, right? So I would go in and say, you're going to have me going back to doing programming. Miss White, hey, look, if you want to be by yourself in the basement and have nobody mess with you, programming is the deal, because everybody's looking for programmers, right? And literally, when we start thinking about where we're at in today's world, I was looking at little young programmers getting paid $160 after taking a 4-week course. Like, look, that's what he said. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. So it's just one of those things where if you're on a computer, you do anything that's computer related, programmers are important, right? So trust me, Mr. Wright, I'm thinking about the same thing. I need to get back into programming. Like, I am not lying to you. This is not a joke. I am not playing any games with you. You understand? I'm definitely thinking about jumping back in and dealing with some languages, right? Yeah, I really am. Like, I really am, right? I really, truly am. I'm not even joking on that, right? After this PhD program, though. Okay? So, that being said, it's something to think about. I'm not telling you what to do. Do whatever you want to do, but do not say, Devon did not tell you so. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Don't say that whatsoever, because I'm going to do what? I'm going to be like, I told you so. I'm not going to go nan, nan, nan. I'm not going to do the nan, nan, nan thing, but I'm going to say, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. You feel me? You feel me? You understand? So yeah, Philip, I love that, man. Philip just said he, taking a class from Harvard right now on AI. It's Python based. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. I want to see y'all preparing yourselves for what's coming, because it's coming, man. It's really coming. Like, you've gotten all the warnings, right? And you know what? It's going to be all these agilists that are not going to do this. That's not going to do it. Like, I'm telling you right now. Seriously. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that at that, right? Because we got more stuff to talk about. We're already at 22 minutes after, man. Why y'all slowing me down, man? I'm trying to get through this thing fast. Anyway, let's keep it moving. All right, so next thing, and this should be understandable, right? Because Agile intelligence is agile and AI. So we have to find ways to bridge the gap between the two, right? And so the first thing is just understanding the intersection between them, right? Recognizing how agile methodologies and AI technologies complement each other. That's probably one of the most important things for you to get, because a lot of us don't understand the transition point or the connection point between the two. A lot of us simply don't understand that. And if you can learn that too, that's going to be helpful. That's going to help you make that transition a little bit easier. So it's important for you to get an idea of both. Now, make sure that you help organizations to understand, to have the ability to deliver value incrementally, right? And make sure that they can leverage data-driven insights for their decision making. I mean, we're talking about crushing massive amount of data, right? The world is made of data. People want to protect the data more than they want to protect anything else. And so being able to make decisions based on that mass amount of data is going to give you all kinds of great insights. It's going to tell the customers things about the customer, and tell you about things about the customers that the customer don't even know yet, which, is always helpful for a business, because you can be like, I see this gap over here. We're going to jump right in that gap, right? First mover advantage, man. First mover advantage. Take advantage of it, right? If you find them, explore case studies, success stories, right? Of innovations and business outcomes, right? Jump into those things as best you can. Keep reading those things. See what people are doing out there, because one thing that people like to do is talk about it. That's one thing they love to do, is talk about it, okay? And so jump out there. Make sure that you are listening for the tea leaves rustling in the air, right? Now, that being said, you want to foster cross-disciplinary collaboration. You want to make sure you have strong communication and collaboration skills that help you to bridge the gap for agile teams and AI specialists. Or basically, AI specialists on agile teams. Like, seriously, right? Because when I think about it, I think about a Scrum team that's doing this kind of work, and they have the AI skill sets on the team, right? I don't think about it as being a separate Scrum team. And I think literally of it being a Scrum team that has the AI skill on it, right? That's what I'm envisioning, right? And I don't see any reason why it would be any different than that, because we're going to be working in really still even more complex adaptive systems. Even more complex adaptive systems. You understand? They're going to be they're going to be sensitive, fragile, right? Easy to mess up, right? There's going to be a lot of mistakes made. There's going to be all kinds of things going on. And the idea is that we are coming in to troubleshoot. We're coming in to make that happen. We're coming in to make a difference, or we're coming in to innovate so then change can happen. These are the things that we're doing, period. Again and again and again. So if you go ahead and you kind of pull yourself over there, you got to understand communication, collaboration will be extremely important. Now, make sure you think about cross-functional interactions, right? Data scientists, software engineers, product owners, business stakeholders. Think about all of them moving in one direction. Do you understand the statement? Think about all of them moving in one solid direction collectively together. To me, there's magic in that. You understand? There's magic in that, right? Just all of them moving together as one. Woo, puppy. That's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a good one. So, again, do what you want to do. Don't say I didn't tell you, though, right? I'm going to keep moving, y'all. Next, cultivate continuous learning and adaptation. You know, I absolutely loved when I seen Philip say, hey, you know what? I'm taking a course right now. You know, I love that, Philip. I love it. Philip is always educating himself. I love it about Philip, right? Always have, always will. But I'm going to say to you, make sure you stay updated on emerging trends, right? Keep abreast on the latest developments and industry best practices. The way you do that is you keep learning. You keep developing yourself. That's the way you keep doing that. But just remember something, right? I don't try to read books like unless it's a seminal book, unless it's absolutely a seminal book. I do not try to read old Agile books because they're outdated. The information's old. So many things have changed since the beginning. You know, so I mean, I see them as being good seminal works, right? They're important, right? But some of the information in there is dated, you know. Even if you went to Mike Cohn today, he'd be like, yeah, half of this is dated. I would change it today, right? In terms of his books, right? So you got to think about that, right? And so you want to find ways to engage online communities, right? You want to attend conferences, because likely is at conferences where you'll get the latest, greatest information. Like literally, if you can find the right conferences that are right there at the cutting edge, sometimes the bleeding edge, you can get some great information. You'll learn some things where you'll be like, I don't even know what they're talking about, but I'm going to go figure it out. You feel me? So start getting yourself in the know. The more you get yourself in the know, the better off you're going to be. Participate in workshops to expand your knowledge, network with fellow professionals. And again, I'm not just going to say Agilists in general, right? You know, if you're moving in this space, you need to start incorporating some of those AI scientists, right, into the mix, right? And the more you can do that, the better off you're going to be, because they speak a different language. Learn to speak that language. I think it will make your life better, period. It make your life easier, right? It will make it so that you can make this transition a little smoother for yourself. So just something to think about, you feel me? Just something to think about. All right, so let's see. The other thing, obviously, with this would be embracing a growth mindset. Adopt that growth mindset, embrace changes, you know, be open to feedback, iterate your skills, seek mentorship, mentor people, do all those things that help accelerate your learning, right? You know, these are things that we know, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on them, because I know you all know this naturally. Most of you all know this naturally, right? Let's deal with the last thing here. Our last big topic is going to be demonstrate value in leadership. You know, the biggest reason I seen Agile fail was it didn't demonstrate value. The organization didn't feel like they received any value out of it, right? It wasn't because there was a failed delivery or anything like that. They look at the value of it compared to everything else, and it just wasn't there, right? That would be the classic reason why I see failure happen, right? When it comes to Agile. Do you see AI failing? I don't, right? But here's the deal. When it comes to you and what you do, the best way you're going to make a name for yourself in this world is making sure that you are delivering tangible business value through your contributions in the Agile Intelligence initiatives that you find yourself to be a part of. The only reason why I was successful in Scrum in the very beginning, like when I started in 2005, the only reason why I was successful, once I left State Farm, I was successful, frankly, because I was demonstrating value. More than anything else, I was demonstrating value. I was demonstrating that we were delivering, right? I was demonstrating that sprint after sprint after sprint. It's very rare that I've had a sprint where we didn't get something done, right? We didn't get something done. Yeah. If there's a disaster, definitely, but only in disaster cases has that ever happened. And if you're able to demonstrate value, which in the beginning I wasn't able to do that, right? When it came to Scrum, about 2012, I learned to do that. You understand? And now the question becomes, how can I incorporate, this AI stuff into this Agile stuff and deliver value in short increments, in short iterations, right? Deliver increments, because an increment is the sum of all completed work, right? So the idea is that in these short iterations, in these short sprints, am I delivering incremental value that I can push in front of people and say, hey, take a look, put it in your hand. Hey, man, you like it, you love it, you hate it, let me know. Let me know. You understand? And so for me, the best part of this is when you're learning it, when you're going over there and mixing your AI stuff with your Agile stuff, you need to make sure you think about how you're going to get this stuff to work, how you're going to demonstrate value. That's important. People are not investing money into these things because they don't want return on investment. They want return on investment. So demonstrating value from their perspective is going to be extremely important for you. Trust me. It goes without saying, right? Make sure you leverage data-driven insights, right? To help with decision makings, to optimize processes, right? To achieve measures, different outcomes that you're trying to achieve, right? When I say optimize processes, immediately I go to lean. But again, that's part of how I think about it, because lean to me is a part of this world as well. I'm kind of including that lean and that agile stuff together, right? Because they always kind of almost come along with each other. So make sure you drive business impact. And then, the final thing, man, is to lead by example, right? If you go ahead and show success, then everybody's going to follow you. That's it. I mean, barring politics, right? Because politics can make things go disastrous, right? Everybody's going to kind of follow you. And if you think everybody's going to follow you, that's a good thing, right? You find ways to inspire people, right? With your passion, your expertise, your commitment to excellence, you mentor junior people, you share the knowledge in the community, you find ways to contribute to thought leadership inside an organization and outside an organization, so you can make yourself a trusted voice within the community. These are things that will be extremely important for you. Right? So you got to start sitting back and start thinking about these things, right? And that's really that's it for us. But let me talk about these topics at a higher level. Demonstrate value and leadership. That was our number 4, right? Cultivate continuous learning and adaptation, right? Bridging the gap between AI and Agile. Develop proficiency in AI technologies and mastering Agile methodologies. Let me ask you a question. Which one of those areas do you need the most help? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the comments, man. Which of those areas do you need the most help, right? I got that Agile thing locked down. No question, right? I understand the gap. I understand the connection between Agile and AI, right? I typically lead by example. I know how to deliver value. There's no question about that. I continuously learn. The only place where my biggest gap is in AI proficiency. But where's your biggest gap? Right? Just drop it in the comments for me, because I'm curious, right? Where's your biggest gap, right? Because as I become more proficient, I'm gonna bring some of that stuff here, right? Why wouldn't I, right? I don't mind sharing my knowledge, right? Because if I can share, when I got that PMP in '05, I was just like, if I can teach somebody a concept, that means I'm good. I'm ready for the test. the more I can teach them all the concepts, the more ready I am for the test, right? And in this case, if I can teach you concepts, I will, right? But the idea, what I'm missing at is an AI proficiency, right? And I know that. I'm working on it. I really am. This is a good thing for me. So I'm absolutely excited. So that being said, I'm like, mm, mm, mm. I see Miss White says that, the bridging the gap in AI efficiency. Patrick, my man, says enhance AI skills. That's great. Showing and demonstrating value. Yeah, Tony. Yeah, I'm glad you're honest about that one. Some people really don't know how to do that, right? So just make sure that you get into these things. You find those weaknesses. You start showing up those weaknesses. That's what we all need to do. We need to all be back here next year better than what we are today. And if we can do that, we're doing ourselves a good service. And you want to keep doing yourself a good service because this landscape is changing. This landscape is changing. The thing about this landscape is I think it's going to change faster and faster and faster. That's what I think it's going to keep doing. Changes faster and faster and faster, right? To a place where we may not be able to keep up. So anyway, that being said, we're going to end everything at that in terms of the actual presentation, right? I haven't decided what I'm going to talk about next week because I want to start something different next month, right? I've been talking about all this learning stuff, so I want to start a different type of topic. So I figured I'd end it off on this AI stuff. But you all tell me, drop in the comments, what do you think are some things that we should talk about moving forward, right? Just drop it in the comments, and I'll pull some of that stuff and pull some topics together, right? That's a big deal. Help telling the story in terms of bridging the gap. I think you need to. I think you need to tell the story of other organizations that have bridged the gap with it. Start off with Netflix and Amazon, and then figure out ways you can bridge the gap within the company that you worked on based on how they meet customer outcomes. Right. So look at other examples. Look at case studies. And see how they tell that story, and then find a way to tell that same story in replacing it with your inputs and your outputs for what the organization is looking for and how that can be helpful in the organization. I think that's how I'd approach it. That's how I'd approach it initially. And the good thing is that if you got to tell that story, most people don't know what you're talking about anyway in the room. Just make it sound good at that point. Make it sound good at that point. That's crazy, right? But you understand where I'm coming from, right? Let's see. So now we're at that famous part, right? Where it's time for questions. Any questions that you have, drop them in the comments. Drop them in the comments, right? Drop them in the comments, right? I would say join me live, but I don't have a headset, and it's gonna have a nice echo, so I can't say join me live, right? I have a headset, it wouldn't connect for me yesterday, and I left my other one at home in Texas. It's very sad. I got like several headsets. It's ridiculous, right? Actually, no. That's okay. You can actually call in. If you want to call in, that's good. I got a different headset. I have a wired headset. So I grabbed a wired headset, right? And I just thought about it. So I grabbed the wired headset, and let me grab the actual link. If you want to join us live, you're welcome to do that. I'm okay with that. If you have a question, but other than that, you're welcome to drop your question within the comments. And again, I will throw this on LinkedIn and on YouTube, so y'all have access to them. I'm just grabbing my bag, y'all, so I can figure out. Oh, I got right there. So I can grab this headset just in case somebody wants to kind of call in on the show. So we're good to go. So yeah. So what kind of questions do you all have? Let's see. Yeah. All right, let me put that right there just in case. Let's see. Checked out that PRD I developed for class. Provided a roadmap for me to learn and dig into the AI with the class. Yeah, certifications. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Why don't you do it for all of us and come back here? Because that'd be good information. If I had time, I would do that kind of stuff. But man, I'm getting my butt kicked, man. Like literally. When I said I'm getting my butt kicked, I got so much reading to do. It's kind of ridiculous. I'd be like, and reading studies can be a little whack, a little boring, because it's a lot of words. It's a lot of words. Like it literally is, legitimately a lot of words, right? You know what, Philip We don't. Every time we put an ACSPO class out there, nobody shows up. Every time. So I don't normally put them out there. I can try one later on this year and advertise and see what people want to do, but that wouldn't be till September, right? Because I got most of the schedule kind of out, so that wouldn't be till September, October. So I can try it out. I have no problem with that. I'm gonna write myself a little note real quick to run a new experiment of the ACSPO. So I'll do that, Philip. Okay. ACSPO. Yeah, I'll do that. No problem. Let's see. Let's jump out here. Leveraging these AI tools as a part of Agile concepts as CSM, CSPO activities would be great upcoming seminars. Yeah, that would be cool, right? Only problem is, I'm thinking to myself, see, as a trainer, Tony, I have to think about learning objectives and how I can meet the learning objectives with these different tools, right? The other problem that I have within a classroom setting is a lot of people, when you bring a tool in and they don't know it, it takes them hour to a half a day to learn the tool, even at a cursory level. And so it messes up the flow of the class because they're not in that tool. So that is interesting thing. But I don't see any reason why we couldn't figure out something related to that that is primarily what has to focus, and it's just a one class that happens every quarter or something like that with AI tools. Yeah, because that might be helpful for people. But I like the idea. So I wrote it down. Tony. Seriously, I wrote it down. So a good idea. Okay. All right. So other questions that you all have. What kind of questions y'all have? What's up? What kind of questions y'all have? Let's see. But right now, y'all, I'm over here, man, I'm trying to get my body fat percentage down. That's probably the biggest thing I'm doing right now is getting my body fat percentage down. So I'm like fasting 16 hours a day and then making sure I lower carbs and fat, and just is always a struggle because I have to make a debate like right here. Am I going to, eat something after, right? So, it's been interesting, but it's working. I'm not fat, right? So I've gone from 23, 20, like 20, 26% body fat down to 23. So that's, I think that's an accomplishment. I think that's an accomplishment. My goal is to get to 20. My goal is to get to 20% body fat, right? I wish I could be at 15 or 12 like the athletes, but I'm not trying to do athlete kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not, right? I'm past those days. So other questions, any other questions that you all have? What's going on? Talk to me. Let me check just in case my LinkedIn people got anything. I'm on LinkedIn. I don't see anything in the chat. But I told you to come on over to LinkedIn. I told you to LinkedIn, come on over to YouTube if you want to send comments. But I'm just double checking. So nothing special. But let me throw Tony's comment up there so y'all can see it. Yeah, I can see myself doing something with AI focus. It's just about people learning the tool while we're in class. I can see myself doing that for alumni somehow, because they should know. Yeah. Anyway, something to think about, right? Something to think about. So, any other questions? Because if there's no questions, we'll shut it down as usual. Some nights we have questions. Beginning of the first 3 months of the year, it's always y'all ain't got no questions because y'all ain't really getting to the thick of anything because your project's just starting, your efforts are just starting to go, and just like, well, I got it so far. We're just in the beginning. So that's usually what I run into, that kind of problem, at least at this time. So that being said, I'm double checking all my sources, and I think we're gonna call it a wrap, y'all. So that being said, this is always a pleasure. Hopefully you all enjoyed that topic. I gotta figure out what that topic is gonna be next week. I'll send it out, I'll set everything up this week so then we can be prepared for next week. But I'll decide that topic probably on Wednesday and send notes out at that point. But other than that, y'all, look, it's been a pleasure. You know how we do this. We always jump on, so I don't see any questions. So I'm gonna keep it moving, and we're just gonna make it. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. So y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks, Philip. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Tony. I saw Kenneth has showed up. I saw Miss White has showed up. Let's see, who did I miss here? D, how you doing, D? How's it going? Yeah, Kenneth, I met you today on LinkedIn, so hopefully everybody's good. Hey, thank you all for the support. Thank you all for the love. We're gonna keep this thing moving. We're gonna show up next Monday. We're gonna do the same thing. I don't know the exact topic, but we're gonna be there with some kind of topic. Other than that, you all have a really amazing night, and I will see you next week. Peace, everybody.